Hey everybody, this is part 2 of the 32 episodes, um, and this week I'm sticking with the NFC East. I'm going to do all the teams in the NFC East, I think. Again, sorry for the audio quality. Working with what I got. I'm thinking about getting a new phone or something that I could probably record better on, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. But I decided to go stick with NFC East, which is the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Redskins, New York Giants. And so I decided to go with the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are a lot of people's favorite team. I mean, you got Dak Prescott, who still hasn't been paid, but he will probably get that paycheck. You have Amari Cooper, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now. You have Michael Gallup, another great wide receiver. You just drafted CeeDee Lamb. You also have Blake Jarwin, tight end. You have one of the historically best O-lines that we've seen in a very long time for the Cowboys. And you also, I probably already said Zeke. You have one of the best running backs. And then you have a great backup running back there, too. His name is blanking on me. Tony Pollard. You have a great backup there, too, with Tony. So you have a great 1-2 punch. You have a great passing game with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. And you have a serviceable tight end in Blake Jarwin. Jason Witten, obviously, getting up there. You all shipped him out to the Raiders, so he's now off your team. He'll probably have his number retired, and all that hoopla will happen eventually. But, excuse me. I made some talking points to help improve the team because it does need to be improved a lot. Because y'all are one of the historically worst teams in making it to the Super Bowl in the past, couple of decades. Past 20-something years, y'all have not made it to the Super Bowl. And, I mean, personally, I don't like the Cowboys, but, I mean, I have a lot of respect for people who do. But, I mean, y'all's division's easy to win. My first talking point is, has Dak Prescott dug a hole which he can't get out of? And when I say that, I mean he's asked for the most money that a quarterback has ever been paid in the NFL, and he got it, but he didn't like the contract because none of it was guaranteed. So he, of course, walked away from it, which makes it seem like he's just going after the money and he doesn't want to play good. And that's probably true. It's probably true. He wants the money. He wants to know that he's financially safe in case anything happens, which any NFL player would want. But he doesn't show that drive on the field to help prove that. I mean, you can say we're going to give you $20 million, but if you get injured or you don't play well, you don't get that money. We're going to send you somewhere else that probably will give you that money. And the fact that he still hasn't signed any sort of contract makes me believe that the Cowboys not only don't want him there anymore, they're having second thoughts, but that he's thinking maybe he doesn't want to be there anymore. I'm sorry, I know there's a shadow. It's getting late, and so I needed another light, so I'm using a flashlight phone thing to help lighten my face up. So there's going to be a little bit of a shadow. Just ignore it. It's not like Princess and the Frog where the shadow will get me. Peter Pan, that works too. My next talking point is wide receiver playtime trouble. And that's not a bad thing. When I say that, I mean you have so many wide receivers on your roster. How are they all going to be satisfied in how much they've played? You got Amari Cooper, who's obviously going to be a starter. CeeDee Lamb, going to be a starter, probably slot, if not on the outside. You have Michael Gallup, who's a great slot wide receiver. He has great hands. But you also have all of these other wide receivers who are backups who can easily come in and fill those roles. And it's gonna be tough for the Cowboys to figure out who's gonna start when. Because honestly, they were pretty good at wide receiver before the draft. And now they bolstered it even more. And it's blanking on me who the other wide receivers are. I'm sorry. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you know. If you're an Eagles fan, you know who they've picked up. You know who could have started if CeeDee Lamb wasn't drafted. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm just saying there's definitely some other needs that could have been filled there. But again, it's going to be rough because a lot of wide receivers on your team are going to be unhappy with the amount of time they're playing. My next one is, Travis Frederick just retired. Y'all's starting center. He had all those problems with his health. I don't know what the name of his disease was that he had, but he had a really bad disease that kept him out for an entire season. He's probably one of the best centers uh, that I've seen in the past 10 years. I know I said that the last time about Jason Kelsey, but I'm serious. Travis Frederick held down that O line. He was the guy. If anyone was going to be the person to say something, it was going to be him. Um, you have Lyle Collins on the right side. You have Smith on the left. You have Connor Williams at guard, and then you also have sorry, not Nick, Zach Martin on the right. Sorry, Connor's left, Zach's right. Um, and of course, when Frederick went down, you brought in Joe Looney. Joe Looney, he's getting up there. He's about 30-something years old, but he's definitely a past his prime center who could fill in that role. He'll do a good job, but he's not somebody who you would want to trust long run, which is why y'all brought in Tyler Biotish from Wisconsin or Nebraska. I think it was Wisconsin. I'm sorry, y'all. His school's like, I'm pretty sure it was Nebraska or Wisconsin. One of those. It was a red school. I know that much. But he's going to come in. He's going to be an immediate help to at least challenge Looney for a starting role, if not start for him or over him. Excuse me. So y'all are going to have a lot of parity there, and you're going to have to teach that young center what it is to be a Cowboy and how to hold down that role on that O-line, because that O-line is the lifeblood. It gets Zeke going every time. It gets Dak time in the pocket, which y'all have a lot of time in the pocket. It's just Dak needs to step it up, and Zeke needs to step it up, or else y'all will go 8-8 again. Excuse me. My next, I wrote down O-line okay. Because if y'all suffer some injuries, y'all could find yourselves not being able to keep keep the pocket for as long as you want to. And Mike McCarthy is definitely somebody who wants to keep the pocket for as long as possible, because he had Aaron Rodgers that he coached, and he kept Aaron Rodgers inside that pocket so he can make those throws down the field to Devontae Adams and Jeff Janis. You remember that, the Hail Mary. But he's definitely going to want to keep that O-line good. So Tyler Biotish, definitely somebody who I wanted the Saints to get. I wanted every team to get him because I had him as a first-round pick in my early mock drafts. He's just a good player. Next is the defense notable. I guess they're not terrible. Definitely not terrible. You got Leighton Vander Esch, Sean Lee. Let's see, Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. You had Jeff Heath, you have Clinton Dix now, you had Byron Jones, he's gone, but you still have Awuzie. Y'all brought in Trevon Diggs. You brought in, I'm sorry, y'all, it's blanking on me. Y'all got rid of Taco Charlton earlier in the season, this past season. But you still have Dontari Poe. You still have Gerald McCoy. You still have DeMarcus Lawrence on that D-line. And, of course, Leighton Vander Esch will be coming off the edge. Sean Lee will be out there in the middle blocking and keeping people from throwing. So y'all's defense is definitely not bad. It's just you don't have an X factor. DeMarcus Lawrence is definitely an X factor on your defense, which is more than some teams have. But you need a spark. You need a good spark, someone to get in there and light a fire under your defense, like bringing in a nice young linebacker to really pressure Sean Lee. That's what Leighton Vander Esch was for, but they figured out a way to keep Sean Lee around. I would also get another safety and just put him under Clinton Dix, because if he doesn't perform well, get rid of him, start the other safeties. Because if not, you're going to have really crappy play. And no one wants that. No one at all wants that. Even I, as much as I could say, oh, I don't like this team, I don't like that team. watching sloppy defense and watching sloppy O-line play is not something that anyone should take joy in watching. Because you're supposed to be out there to help teams get better, and you could very well have that happen to you. That was a little bit of a rant. Let's see. It's gonna be a lot of fun this upcoming season. I feel like y'all are gonna be a good team if y'all can get Dak Prescott his money, and Jerry Jones needs to decide. Y'all brought in Andy Dalton. You have Dak Prescott, who's going to start because you just paid Andy Dalton a bunch of money, and he probably doesn't want to be a backup. He probably wants to start eventually, and I don't know why my eye keeps doing that whenever I blink. I'm sorry. I'm good. You don't want to just pay him to sit on the bench. So I feel Andy Dalton's going to put a lot of fire into Dak to impress, and if he doesn't, Mike McCarthy will have no problem in putting Dak on the bench and bringing in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton reminds me a lot of Tony Romo when he plays. Well, not in the way he can't win a playoff game, but in the way that he can move the ball down the field. He could try to break if the pocket collapses, he'll try to make something happen, but he won't force it if he knows it's going to be a bad throw. But that's it for the Cowboys. I think next I'm doing the Redskins, and then I'll do the Giants. It's my last one of the East, because the Giants are a pretty interesting team, but I'd have to do some homework on the Giants. I know a lot about the Redskins already, though. So I will see y'all. I'm probably going to record another video right after this, and I promise I will, because I didn't do one yesterday, and I'm trying to do them pretty much every day, if not every other day. So thank y'all for watching. This was episode 2 of 32, the Dallas Cowboys. We got 30 more episodes to go. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in.